And now, Mr. Bareface.
Let's talk Bud Light for a moment. I know this topic has been beaten like a dead Clydesdale, but I wanted to clarify some things for people who don't seem to understand or have been given false information by mainstream media. Bud Light Marketing VP, Alissa Heinerscheid, who has since lost her job, was to blame for all of this from the start. Alissa is the one who attacked Bud Light's core audience, not Dylan Mulvaney. This is a touchy topic for some, but please hear me out. Bud Light hired Dylan Mulvaney as an influencer. In hindsight, I'm sure Dylan regrets taking the job, but it was also partially Dylan's fault. Dylan shouldn't have taken a spokesperson job for a brand she didn't have intimate knowledge about. That should go for anyone, no matter who you are.
This month I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it.
She was not a Bud Light drinker. Plus, this was during March Madness. And she also admitted in her video that she didn't even know what March Madness was.
So, I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with sports. And I'm not sure exactly which sport, but either way, it's a cause to celebrate.
The mainstream media focused the Bud Light hate on Bud drinkers being bigots that hate Dylan Mulvaney and the LGBTQ community. Now, there are some people out there that I'm sure that fits the bill. But in reality, a news story about how people hate LGBTQ certainly would garnish more clickbait than hating on the VP of Marketing, Alissa Heinerscheid. Let's take a look at what Alissa had to say 2 days before Dylan Mulvaney's infamous Bud Light post. This is Alissa being featured on the Make Yourself at Home YouTube podcast.
I think being the first woman to lead Bud Light, the biggest beer brand kind of in the world.
No, she just said the biggest beer brand in the world.
I think number one, I'm a businesswoman. I had a really clear job to do when I took over Bud Light. And it was, this brand is in decline. It's been in decline for a really long time.
Okay, is it the biggest beer brand in the world or not?
And if we do not attract young drinkers to come and drink this brand, there will be no future for Bud Light. So I had this super clear mandate. It's like we need to evolve and elevate this incredibly iconic brand.
The brand that is so iconic it is going to die.
It means having a campaign that's truly inclusive and feels lighter and brighter and different and appeals to women and to men. And representation is at sort of the heart of evolution. You've got to see people who reflect you in the work. And we had this hangover. I mean, Bud Light had been kind of a brand of fratty, kind of out of touch humor. And it was really important that we had another approach.
Alissa Heinerscheid never mentions in this interview how much she appreciates the Bud Light drinkers of today. She just focused on the potential Bud Light drinkers of tomorrow. She instead decided to state how fratty and out of touch the Bud Light brand is. Well, maybe that explains this photo of Alissa drinking beer out of a condom in college. Way to be hypocritical, Alissa. People keep saying that Anheuser-Busch should issue an apology. Some say the apology should be for hiring Dylan Mulvaney, but I feel AB should apologize for their VP of Marketing for poorly representing the Bud Light brand. The 2 days leading up to Dylan Mulvaney's post already saw backlash from Alissa Heinerscheid. It was the mainstream media that turned it to be about Dylan Mulvaney. Ultimately, I feel bad for Dylan. She made a mistake in representing a brand that she knew little about. There's a good lesson here. Bud Light is no longer the king of beers, nor will it ever be again. Their market share and the outlook on the brand is destroyed. Universities are even teaching about the Bud Light fiasco in business and marketing classes. I find it all quite fascinating. I can't wait for Alissa Heinerscheid to come out of hiding. I can't imagine who would hire her after all this. But someone will. But that will be a whole other story. Thanks for listening. P.S. I absolutely think Bud Light sucks. So I don't give a fuck.
Mr. Bareface would greatly appreciate it if you could take a brief moment to like this video, and we hope to have earned your subscription.